Welcome to 1041, a UCSO podcast where we take you behind the badge and inside the Union County Sheriff's Office. I'm your host, Tyler Funderburg. Today's episode is a special one. As we close out Season 1, we're taking a closer look at one of the most highly trained and specialized units in our agency, the Special Response Team. These are the deputies called upon during some of the most critical and high-risk situations our community may face, and the level of preparation, discipline, and teamwork required to serve in this role is second to none. To wrap up the season, we're giving you a behind-the-scenes look at what it truly takes to be part of this team. Joining us today is the member of our Special Response Team, Lieutenant Sean Mayhew, to share that experience firsthand. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
So for those who may not be familiar, what is the Special Response Team?
The best way to describe that, and you see on TV shows now all the time, like SWAT, and in the early days, years ago, that was a basic name for SWAT, Special Weapons and Tactics. Ours, and you get different names between different agencies. Some people call their team the Emergency Response Team, ERT. Ours is Special Response Team, and it's a dedicated unit of guys that train for the worst of the worst, and just what typical patrol or our normal daily functions can't handle.
Okay. What types of situations call for SRT deployment?
If you get call-outs, a lot of times it's going to be barricaded subjects. We've had one hostage rescue here in Union County. We trained for that. And it can be a variety of things. We did woodland op search for people, armed subjects running off in the woods. Anything with that high risk, that would be something we'd be called out for. But we also do high risk search warrants for the Detective Bureau, or stuff that just typically meets a threshold that's too dangerous for regular patrol.
Okay. How does SRT differ from regular patrol operations?
Well, we are a part-time team, man. We're not a full-time team of operators. Each individual on the team, they have a primary function or duty somewhere else here in the agency, whether that be patrol, Detective Bureau, school resource, and that's the beauty of it. All the guys come from different backgrounds, but again, we're a part-time team, meaning we train together and we're on call 24/7, but we're not always active.
Okay. Well, so we're going to talk about kind of the roles of the team real quick. What is your specific role within the SRT?
I am the team commander.
Okay.
I've been on the team since 2010. I've always been on entry, and eventually I was assistant team leader, then team leader, assistant commander, and now I'm the commander.
Okay. Commander, that sounds like a really, really big deal.
They didn't have much to choose from.
What drew you to want to be a part of the unit?
So, for me, early in my career at the Sheriff's Office, and I've spent my whole law enforcement career here at the Sheriff's Office, second to none agency. For me, if I have ability to do something or some special ability, I like to try to use that as much as I can. And early on in my career on patrol, I saw some of my FTOs and people were on the team, and I was like, I like that. If I have the ability, I'm physically fit, I can shoot above average. Think I got a good mindset about me. That's what drew me to it. But not only that, it was just the camaraderie on the team, the closeness of the guys that I saw, and that has remained the whole time I've been on the team. It's a very, very close-knit family.
That's awesome. What does being on SRT mean for you personally?
That's taking different roles as I get older. When I was young, I was trying to make a name for myself and just be that guy. And if you talk to me now at my age, I'm just trying to stay relevant.
Yeah.
But I do love, out of all the things Sheriff Cathy has blessed me in my career to do, being a part of the team, whatever that role may have been, has been the most special to me.
Okay. Now, I know that probably being on this team is not one of those things that's very easy to come across. There has to be some sort of a selection process. What does it take to be selected for the SRT?
I'll dive back into, all of our active team members are from different bureaus in this organization, in the sheriff's office, and we evaluate people, and of course, it is highly selective. It's hard to get on. I take that as a testament to the team because we may have a couple openings. I don't like to put a tryout process out if we only got one opening because there's too many people vying for one spot. But the testament to our team lately has been we may have 4 openings and we have 11 people put in. So you can look at that and say it's pretty hard to get on here. And what do you bring to the table? Each one of those candidates, what makes them stand out and special above somebody else? Mm-hmm. But it is the selection process. We put them through firearms quals, and state minimum requirements for firearms for law enforcement is one thing, but we're above and beyond that, meaning you have to be proficient with the firearm, extremely proficient. We put them through that process. We put them through a PT assessment, which all the active members on the team every year have to maintain a level of firearms proficiency and a PT assessment within a threshold. So it's not you get on the team and then you just kind of let yourself go. But we do the same thing with the trainees, and then they sit through an interview process. And our team is ran as a democracy. The team guys vote. We sit down. It's not what one person wants, it's what everybody wants.
Okay.
It's pretty rigorous.
What kind of physical and mental standards are required?
Well, it goes without saying, the equipment we carry, when we operate, we can't choose when we operate. It could be 90 degrees or more. Some call-outs last over 12 hours. You've got to be physically fit and a very good cardio base. Mm-hmm. So that being proficient with firearms is key because we deal in close quarter areas a lot of times and not much room for error in high stress situations. Now, we look for a candidate that is well-rounded. We don't allow people to put in for the team till they have a certain amount of patrol experience, and that's just so we can get somebody that's more well-rounded, somebody that has been out there, they've dealt with these other types of calls. But we also look for somebody that is mentally able to adapt on the fly. Mm-hmm. And this whole environment that SRT works in, no matter whether it's a call out, a planned operation, whatever, you can plan and plan and plan, but whenever the dirt meets the road, something usually goes awry. And it's how do you adapt to that in that high stress situation.
Okay. How competitive is the selection process?
Very. And the bright side of that is I see people that have put in before and they may not have made the cut, didn't get the vote, they come back the next time. And I see them trying to improve. So it's a good problem to have that many young people because, again, looking at me, closer to retirement and longer in my career, now I'm looking at where does this team go when I leave.
Absolutely. Now, I know that with SRT, there's definitely a lot of training and preparation that goes into it. Can you walk us through the type of training SRT members go through?
So yearly, I'm one of our Def Tech instructors for our chemical munitions, flashbang devices, all the stuff that we use. We recert those guys in a lecture format and a practical application for all those specialties. We do that annually, annual PT test, firearms qualification, and then we'll train CQB, which is a close quarter battle, in either a sim house or a live house that we have around the county, working that close quarter battle stuff, just honing those techniques. But also we do a variety of woodland ops training, especially certain times of the year to catch the foliage and when there's full greenery and whenever it's winter, to understand how to work that piece. But woodland ops, we do vehicle assault training, bus assault training. There's just a variety of things. So it's not like one certain thing every month. We're doing something different. Medical training, we have SWAT medics attached to our unit. They bring firsthand EMS experience. So good stuff.
Awesome. How often do you train, and what does the training look like?
So we train twice a month, so 24 trainings in a calendar year. Typically, we will try to do an overnight training somewhere to kind of give the guys a little getaway, but also get training value out of it. Samarkand, we've been to their facility. They were nice enough to host us, and they've got ranges and schools and different things we can train in. But twice a month, and training days can vary from an early morning and a long day training to a late night training, depending on if we're using night vision capabilities. Working on that, we'll be working in the evening hours in the dark. So,
Wow. How important is teamwork and communication during training?
communication is the first thing that breaks down in everything. You see that on patrol, you see that everywhere, but it stands true in the SWAT or the SRT environment when we're out on actual operations. So communication is absolutely key. Guys, I can read your body language, but sometimes if I can't see you, I need you to tell me what you're up against, what you're dealing with. So the bright side of our team, and I'll say this, out of all those members on the team, each one may have somebody may be better than somebody else at something. They may bring something. Again, it's what do you bring to the table. But when we step into a training environment or to a live operation, they check their egos at the door. And literally, teamwork it's all about the team. Okay. It's not me, it's the team.
All right. What skills are most critical to performing successfully on the team?
Again, like we talked about earlier, proficiency with firearms, being just absolutely competent with that firearm platform. A person that can make decisions in duress on the fly. Because let's say we go to a call-out situation where it's not something that we had planned, not a search warrant or something we had a chance to rehearse and or plan. Things are evolving, and you've got to be able to evolve with that. And you got to have somebody that has that mindset of having a plan B, have a plan C, or if all those plans don't work, in the heat of the moment, can they make that decision?
Okay. I guess now we're going to talk about deployment and operations. So what happens when SRT gets called to a deploy?
Okay. So everybody on the team, and right now we're sitting at about 35 members, we're on call 24/7. We have a call-out system that if a patrol supervisor, usually they'll call me as the commander if they're dealing with something and get my intake on it, but there's a call-out system that goes out. The guys will respond. We don't really set a time frame on that, but again, it takes a little bit sometimes to get things spun up and moving. But
oh yeah, sure.
We usually train that stuff as well, so we can respond to any part of this county as fast as we can and efficiently to get there to resolve what we got.
Yeah. So how do you mentally prepare for high-risk situations? I'm sure that's hard to do.
Yes. And again, I take this back to my career on the team. When I was young on the team, we'd have planned operations or something. We'd know what was coming the next day. It was about my role, what I was assigned to do or tentatively assigned to do. Now, it's not about me anymore. I lay in bed at night. If we have a planned operation, I can promise you I don't sleep. You can ask my wife. I am stressing, have I put these guys in the best possible scenario to be successful in this operation, and have I done everything I needed to do to make sure that we've checked all the boxes. Right. But for the standard guy, all of my guys on the team, I think there's an amount of mental preparation that it may vary from person to person how they prepare for it, but the bright side is I cannot remember a time where we pulled up for an operation, planned or unplanned, and my guys were not turned on 100%.
Good.
So they're doing something right.
What are some of the biggest challenges during a deployment?
Communication. Again, that is one thing we see a lot of times, and we've got high-tech comm systems with each operator, but you can imagine rural areas of the county. The system may not reach that far. We have to use certain channels. We've had some of that. And again, just the ever-changing complexity of what we're dealing with. We can plan for a plan for a plan. And then when the rubber hits the road, something has changed. So, you look for contingencies in everything you do.
So going back to, mentally prepared, how do y'all stay focused when you have to make decisions under like a huge amount of pressure?
I think a lot of that comes back to our training. And again, we talked earlier about the different types of training we do yearly or annually. One thing that I do is I'll maybe task you today with planning an assault on a certain structure. That gives everybody on the team a little bit of an insight of what it's like to be in that commander role or that team leader role. And it takes it outside of them. They're planning for everybody else. So that's a good way that we plan it. Everybody's mentally turned on.
Okay. One of the toughest parts of being on SRT, by chance?
Toughest parts?
Yeah, what's the toughest parts?
There's always that call out when you worked all day and you get called back out at 2 o'clock in the morning. The just sleep deprivation. I guess another tough part I could think back in my time was if we go to said structures and maybe we don't find the target that we're thinking is there. And, you're dealing with that. You got an adrenaline dump as soon as you get done with dealing with it or whatever the operation's been. But, if we're going after a specific target and that target's not there, then maybe it was bad intel. Maybe we didn't have the right, and we can't be 100%, but it leads to second guessing sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. How do you manage stress with these high intensity situations?
I tell all the guys, and I try to bring some wisdom to the younger guys on the team, but I tell them, find an outlet. Find something away from work that you can go just degress in. For me, it's always been the gym. I can go to the gym, put my headphones in, kind of tone everybody else out through the bad things we see in this line of work, not only at SRT, but patrol and everywhere else, and just kind of get to my sanity that way. But some people, it may be golf, it may be fishing, but I always tell the guys and encourage them to outsource themselves away from this line of work. And it's funny, now I talked about that adrenaline dump earlier. When we have an operation now at my age, I feel like I've been hit by a Mack truck when I go home. So I don't go straight to the gym like I used to. I usually go home, sleep for a couple hours, and then I'll go kind of get that mind reset.
Well, absolutely, yeah. What are some of the misconceptions people have about teams like yours?
Well, it's televised now. You see these TV shows about SWAT and stuff like that. And, of course, there's all the Navy SEAL shows and stuff. People a lot of times tend to compare us to militarized law enforcement, and we're not. We still abide by general statutes. We don't have a free reign. We do have specialized equipment that helps us to deal with what we come across. But I think for the most part, what I've seen the public here in Union County, they respect that and they understand it.
That's good. I mean, I know that you have a lot of challenges with the job, but there has to be some kind of rewards for it as well. I mean, what makes all the training and challenges worth it?
Every successful mission that we have where none of my guys are hurt, and hopefully none of the people we're dealing with are hurt, or we resolve that situation, that's the icing on the cake. I can look back and every debrief, and I can't tell you how many operations I've been on over the years. Me and somebody were talking about that the other day, and they'll bring up operations I had forgotten about. But just to know that we completed that mission successfully, that makes all the training, all the long hours away from home, away from my family, it makes it worthwhile.
What are the most, what, I guess what I'm trying to say is, what are you most proud about as a member of SRT?
Longevity.
Old man. That's a good answer.
Old man in a young man's game. No, just the fact that over my time and even past my time when I retire, I hope that I have left this team in a better shape. I mean, I've seen us come leaps and bounds, and just the amount of the equipment, it's ever evolving just like everything else. It changes with the times, but we're in a whole lot better role now than when I got on the team, and that's no take towards anybody prior. It's just we are very blessed. Sheriff Kathy sees the value in this team and supports us and gives us the equipment we need to run with.
Yeah. How does this team impact the safety of Union County?
Well, anytime people see the armored vehicle going up and down the road, there's definitely chatter on some of your social media sites, and I think just that in of itself, people feel safe and secure here in Union County. And if you think to some of these planned operations where we're doing these high-risk search warrants, a lot of times the neighbors have been dealing with whatever that structure is, whatever's going on in that at that address we're going to, and they're usually pretty fed up with it. So they see the light. Of course, we can make a lot of racket when we come out, flash bangs and stuff. Of course, it generates a lot of talk in the community. But at the same time, I have seen a overwhelming. We're so glad y'all dealt with that problem. We've been dealing with it. We don't like living around it. So I think public perception and the citizens of Union County definitely, they see enough of it, they feel safe and secure.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I know you kind of touched on it a little bit earlier about how this job can definitely affect your personal life, but how do you balance your SRT responsibilities with your personal life?
For a vast majority of my career, when I started when I was younger, I was single. So I was able to live that life. I didn't have any tie downs, nothing. I have since met my beautiful bride, and we've been married almost 8 years. 2 boys, and she knew getting into it that this was my passion. I was invested on the team, and we just find ways to work around it. She understands. Of course, no lack of worrying whenever I have to leave out of the house in a hurry for a call out or something. She's definitely stressed, but we keep that open line of communication. I let her know when I'm safe. I encourage all the guys on the team to do the same, whoever it is that may be for them. And we just take it one day at a time.
Absolutely. What helps you decompress after a stressful call?
The gym.
Kind of answered my own question. What motivates you to continue this role?
As long as I feel like I have something to give that's beneficial to everybody else on the team in this agency and county, I'm going to try to do that. I've always said that when I don't get excited about these call-outs and nervous, or it's just not my time to do it anymore, or I tell the guys on the team, hey, if I start stepping back and I'm just not the guy I used to be, I expect you to tell me, because maybe that's the time. I'm hard-headed. I rode bulls when I was younger, and it was one of those, you just adrenaline junkie, you go at it, but injuries ended that career, and I hope that I can run this to my retirement.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I guess talking about the community and them understanding, what do you want the public to understand about SRT?
I want the public to not only associate us with the bad, whenever they see armored trucks going down the road or something like that, or they may see our team out. I just want, I want them to feel safe in their homes, because rest assured, if we're working on a planned operation, every aspect of all the neighbors, anybody outlying areas, we've taken that into consideration, and we're going to make steps to make sure that they are not affected. So, I would love for them to just look at this as the sheriff's office, their special response team, we're safe. No matter what comes in this county, they got it handled.
Why is it important for agencies to have units like this?
Any agency, I would think, definitely if they have the ability. I know there's smaller agencies, especially within our jurisdiction, but elsewhere that may not have the ability or capability. But just to be able to have that fallback of when your standard patrol officer, it's something that they can't deal with, or it's just too risky, it's very beneficial to have a team like this that is trained, that can step in, they have the equipment, and they have the personnel to do it.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to have a little bit of fun right now. So I'm going to ask you some quick questions and
Okay.
just answer off the top of your head. So early morning trainings or late night call-outs?
Early morning trainings.
Cardio or strength training?
Cardio.
Most important trait for SRT?
Quick on the fly.
Quick on the fly. One word to describe your team?
Solid.
What keeps you coming back?
Not ready to give it up.
Well, thank you for giving us an inside look into the special response team and for the work you and your teammates do to protect our community in some of the most critical situations. And thank you to everyone who has followed along with us throughout season 1 of 1041 at UCSO Podcast. We've had an opportunity to share some incredible stories from leadership and community hours to specialized units and the people who make this agency what it is. If you enjoyed this podcast and want to see a season 2, we want to hear from you. Reach out to us on Facebook and let us know what topics you'd like us to cover and who you'd like to hear from next. Until then, thank you for listening, stay safe, and we'll see you on the next call.